Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today is March the 4th, 2021. It's a Thursday. On Tuesday, the Israeli Defense Minister Benny Gantz announced that there was some kind of informal defense pact between Israel and certain Arab kingdoms. When Donald Trump was in power, he and his son in law, Jared Kushner, put together an architecture of peace between Israel and some countries such as the UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Sudan, etc., even Morocco. So these countries were brought together, they made peace with Israel under the so-called Abraham Accords. They were saying that this peace would bring around about peace and stability in the area. But we know that that's not true because there are actors in the Middle East who are opposed to Israel, namely Iran, and there are other non-state actors supported by Iran who are vehemently opposed to Israel. A few days back, there was an attack on Israeli ship. Certain limpet mines were attached to an Israeli ship which was damaged. Israel was very prompt in accusing Tehran for doing it. The Islamic Republic of Iran refuted these charges. But what I'm trying to bring across is that the situation between relations between Iran and Israel are not good. And the Arab kingdoms are supporting Israel because they feel that they are threatened by Iran. So this is something very cultural, not religious, because there has been ancient traditional animosity between the Arabs and the Persians. Biden, once he assumed office, he tried to make some amendments in the American policy about Middle East. For example, he said that he would no longer be supporting the anti-Houthi campaign in Yemen. What he said was that he would no longer be supporting the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in what they are doing. He also released a very damning report about Prince Mohammed bin Salman being actually involved in the brutal murder of the Saudi journalist Adnan Khashoggi. He spoke to the Saudi king also directly. He did not speak to the crown prince, who has been in the previous times, or still actually is still regarded as the de facto king. But Biden did not speak to him. He spoke to King Salman. But overall, there has been no change in the American policy. Now, if there is really some kind of defense accord between Israel and its Arab friends, then it's going to complicate issues because Iran is not going to take it lying down. And this could lead to more rising of tensions in the Middle East. Middle East, we know, has been on the boiling point since the last century. After the breakup of the Ottoman Empire, creation of certain artificial states, the discovery of oil in the region, all that, a creation of Israel itself, all this has brought about a lot of conflict in the region. So the declaration by the Israeli defense minister is not going to sit well with Iran. I can only hope and pray that the tensions don't rise and the Biden administration exhibits more maturity and even-handedness in their talks with Iran and the Arabs. Best would be if the Arabs and the Iranians sit together. They are Muslim states. Instead of they being pitched against each other, they should resolve their problems, resolve their doubts and suspicions, which aren't very many, and try to bring around normality in this conflict-ridden zone. Thank you very much. That's all from my side.